Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to this channel. Welcome to today's video. We're going to be doing a HR analytics, data analytics project, and we are going to be using SQL. So yeah, this project is good for you if you're, let me say, somewhat new to SQL. Let's say you've done an SQL course somewhere, or you've been following along my SQL tutorials, and yeah, you're just wondering, okay, I know these functions, I know how to use a case statement, I know how to do aggregate function, etc, etc, but what next, Stacy? How do I put all this together to create a project, to prepare for how I'll be driving value for an organization as a data analyst? Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, my name is Stacy. I'm a data analyst, and in my current position, I majorly use SQL, like it's SQL heavy. I use SQL for data cleaning, data manipulation, and I usually create, of course, that's what it's supposed to be. So I do all the data cleaning and data manipulation, SQL, then I jump onto a BI tool where I do the visualization. So what I wanted to say is, like, I usually make sure my data set is very ready. So by the time I jump onto the BI tool, it's just visualization, like minimum manipulation, minimum cleaning. It's just visualization. Yeah. So yeah. And so I decided to create this video today to just show you guys how you can use SQL to create a project, how you can use SQL to answer various organization questions that can guide strategy, decision making, hence driving value for your whatever organization you're working with, plan to work with. Yeah, let me help you shine, look good in your next job interview. So yeah, guys, let's get into it. Yeah, so the first question: which three departments had the highest satisfaction score, and which three had the lowest satisfaction score? Okay, so oh yeah, let me just mention, in case you're new to what is it called, MySQL, and you don't have it on your machine and you don't know how to load a CSV onto your MySQL environment, I'm going to link down below a video that will show you how to load your CSV onto your MySQL environment so you can start this analysis. I'll also link the code that we're going to use down below, and I'll also link the source of this dataset down below. So yeah, feel free to check that out if you need to load MySQL, load your CSV onto your MySQL environment. And if you also don't know how to get MySQL onto your environment, on the tutorial that will show you how to load your CSV onto your MySQL environment, there's a link to another tutorial that I used. So this tutorial is not created by me, to just get MySQL into my environment, so yeah, you can check it out. Otherwise, guys, let's get into the video. I just wanted to make sure everyone is at par, even guys who are like totally new. Yeah. So we want to know which, we could still do all, yeah. I want to know which three departments had the highest satisfaction score and which three had the lowest satisfaction score. Okay, so first of all, let's just select all. I like doing this, and we can limit this to 100, yeah. So let's just run that and get the feel of our data set. So this is what our data set looks like. You can also see the list of columns on your left here. But yeah, so we want to know which department had the highest satisfaction scores and the lowest satisfaction scores. So yeah, so how I'm choosing to interpret this question is like aggregated, which department had the highest satisfaction score and which one had the lowest satisfaction score. So I would use an average. So I would do average satisfaction level as average, and just copy that satisfaction, and we care about the departments. Okay, so we want to select department, then we want to get the average satisfaction scores. And remember, we want this in order because we want to see the top 3 and the bottom 3. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do order by 2. Okay, so yes, order by 2, group by 1. Yeah. So yeah, for those of you who are slightly new here, so let me just explain. When you're doing group by, you could either use the placeholders, like department is the first column I'm calling, so 1. Average satisfaction is the second column, I'm calling 2. So you could either use average satisfaction, group by average satisfaction, order by department, or you could use the placeholders. And I find it more efficient to use like the placeholders, like the number, yeah? And just in case you're not on MySQL, like you're just following along on this and you're not on MySQL, please note, this might not work in Postgres. Yeah, so it might not work. Like order by this might not work if you're using Postgres. So you could just try and Google your way around it. If you get an error, or yeah, feel free to send me a message or send me a message. Like, let me know about what challenges you're facing in the comment down below. And yeah, I'll see how to help you. So just a disclaimer. Okay, so this looks a bit messy. We can use the round function. And we want to round it off to 2 decimal places. Okay. So we want to, okay, so order by default uses ascending, so that's from the smallest to the largest. But if you want it from the largest to the smallest, you need to specify order by descending. So this way. Okay, so support management, okay, a good number of them tied. Support management, IT, product management, marketing, and I don't know what rand D is. At position 1 with a score of 0.62, and then sales, the sales team had 0.61 average satisfaction, second place, HR, second last, the irony, and the department with the lowest satisfaction score was 0.58 is accounting. Yeah, and there is the answer to. Yes, as you can see, the answer is not very straightforward. So let me also give a disclaimer. So what I usually do is I just look through the data set, yeah. And of course, after looking through the data set, I come up with questions, but I prefer not to do the questions. Like whether it's a tutorial or it's a project, I usually prefer not to do, I don't do it in advance. Like I just hop on here and we do it together because I want this to be as real as possible. I want to be as shocked and as surprised, and I want to make mistakes and correct them and just show you guys like what working on a data project really looks like. So yeah, clearly my question probably didn't make so much sense, but yeah, there we have it. So yeah, so as you can see here, we've used SQL group by, order by, we've used aggregate functions, and yeah, let's go to the next one. So what is the relationship between salary and satisfaction score? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want us to get our data set. Select all from okay. Okay, so we have our data set again, yeah, and we want to understand what is the relationship between satisfaction level and salary, yeah. So the first thing I want us to do is just get an idea of how many salary categories are there. Distinct, select distinct salary. Okay, so select what you need. We have low, medium, high. So I just want us to copy this and I think we can store it. Yeah. Okay, we have low. So let's put it in quotes because we're going to refer to this, yeah. And whenever you're working with a data point, or rather the contents of a column, you have to make sure it's in the appropriate data type whenever you want to call it. So that's why I put it in quotes in advance, yeah. And the question is, what is the relationship between salary and satisfaction score, yeah? So we can actually borrow from this. So we do not have to do this from scratch. So paste. And the next thing we're going to do here is now, we're still going to use average, yeah? But this time we're going to use a case statement. So case when salary equals low, then low. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to create another column here, which will have the salary categories, yeah. So that's what, actually, we don't need to do that actually, yeah. We don't need to do that because it's already there. So what we just have to do is salary. It's actually going to be very similar to the first question. Salary, then we are still going to do the average satisfaction level as average satisfaction, and for it to just look neat, we're also rounding it off. Then remember, we are grouping by salary, and we want to order by average satisfaction, yeah? So yeah, who can tell me like what's likely to happen? Like what will be a result? So here you go. So people with low salary had an average satisfaction of 0.6, medium salary 0.64, high salary 0.62, high salary 0.64. Yeah, I guess my question to you guys is like, what really matters to you as an employee? Like, yeah, you want to be in you want to be in an environment that has a good work culture, but on top of your peace of mind, and I guess part of your peace of mind is honestly being compensated well. So personally, I'm not surprised that employees who had a high salary had a higher average satisfaction. Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe the other thing I can also just say is, let's run this, yeah. So like once this results comes out, like, okay, for me, this is not too worrying, I think, yeah. But if this was actually your organization, you'd know what questions to ask. But the fact that most departments are at the same place, like even accounting who had the lowest is not too far from like IT or marketing. But if accounting was too low, like way lower than everyone, like this is like a good starting point for you as like HR. So yes, you're the data analyst, you're giving this information to HR and like, oh yeah, we noticed this department had a very low score. Like, why could this be the case? What are some of the hypotheses? What can we do to just improve like work culture, employee happiness for this particular department, yeah? So I guess for me, I'm really kind of struggling a bit with giving scenarios for this because I'm like, if you're the data analyst for HR or you're doing a HR analytics project, okay, you'll do the analysis, you give your recommendation, but I don't know. I think I'm just so used to doing like more technical analysis where I'm doing the analysis, I see what I find, I give recommendations, but I'm just like, this is a HR issue. Is should I just give the numbers to HR and be like, okay, this is what I found. Okay, yeah. Or should I be like, oh, this is what I found, this is where I think the problem is, these are my recommendations. I'm not sure about the recommendation bit. Yeah, if you're someone who's already in HR and you want to transition to analytics, or you're someone who's interested in specifically HR analytics, yeah, like let me know. Like, do you just give the numbers and point out the problem areas, or do you give the numbers, point out the problem areas, and also give your recommendations when it comes to HR analytics? Like, yeah, please do let me know. Yeah. And then now here, yeah, so yeah, same thing. Like, I guess this is good information for HR, for like senior management, senior leadership, and like, okay, people who have low salaries have the average satisfaction is probably not so good. But then again, like here, as I mentioned before, the difference here is not so bad. So I don't know if this is worrying, but yeah, if you're in the actual company, if you understand the data, you'd know what's worrying. Like in some places, a 10% difference is not such a big issue. In a place, some places, a 10% difference is disastrous. In some places, 0.5 difference is disastrous, you know? So yeah, I guess I don't have much context there. But yeah, if you're someone who works in HR, interested in HR, please do let us know down in the comment below. And I hope you guys are getting like what I'm trying to do. Like, being a data analyst just doesn't end at numbers. Like, you're a thought partner, you're a solution partner. So you really have to take time to think through what you're seeing in the numbers, what they mean, and whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, let's go to the last question, which has several parts, all the way to A, B, C, D till F parts. So yeah, how did the top two and bottom two departments perform in the following areas? Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get the top two and bottom two departments. So we have support and management. So I'll just come and put you guys here. And then the bottom two is accounting and HR. I still find this so funny. It's so ironical that the people who are trying to solve the problem are also among the bottom ones. But as I mentioned, it's not too bad. Like, the difference is so small, but it's, yeah, the irony. The irony. Oops. Okay, by now you get why I am doing what I am doing. So yeah, let's save that, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to treat this as one, yeah. So I'm going to call this top department, and I'm going to call this lower department, yeah. So now we're going to use a case statement because we're going to create a new column, yeah. So we can do select, and then we get our table. Okay, so before I continue, let's just read the question. How do the top two and bottom two departments perform in the following areas? Yeah. So I'm going to combine these two. Support and management are going to become one. So support management kind of disappears, as top department and lower department. So why I decided to pick two is, like, I didn't want like this to be just driven by one department. We could even pick top three, bottom three, but seeing our numbers, this makes sense, like top two, because bottom three is also top two, and it will like dilute the data further, and we might not see any differences. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, like, I just start and I want to find out these things with you. So yeah, let's find this out together. Yeah. So last evaluation. So we want to see what are the last evaluation for top two, top three, yeah? So the whole idea of this is, what I'm thinking is, all this can be one query, by the way. It doesn't have to be several queries. Yeah, but let's start and see. Let me, one big query or two. Ooh, we're going to use a union. Yay, I'm so excited about that. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. So we want to get our case statement first because we're creating a new column. So case when, I like putting it here, case when in. So yeah, I have a tutorial on how to use various logical and comparison operators like in, so you can go and check that out. So I already put it in code. So when department in support and department is in management. Is in management, then we agreed we are going to call this top department, yeah. And when department in HR and it's in accounting, then we're going to call this lower department. Okay, so we are ending do top bot, yeah, and we can select everything else, and yeah, let's select this and run. We see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, we have our employee ID, like our normal column. Okay, there's something wrong here. I need to figure out what's wrong. Actually, there's nothing wrong. Not sure what this is. Yeah. Actually, there's nothing wrong, by the way. Because remember, what I did is when department in support, management, HR, accounting. So anyone who's like any other department who's not in this form will be a null. So if you scroll down, you can see HR, accounting, lower, yeah. So what we can do here, if you want to preview this, we can say end top. Oh, good. And where? Is not now. I'm honestly not sure if this will run. Yeah, because that doesn't exist. And if I get rid of this, let's run this again and we try use the positions instead of the name of the column. So like I need to get rid of this. So like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And where? I don't know if this will work. 11 is not now. So let's try this. If it doesn't work, it's okay. I'll find another way. Okay. But now they're still there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So that didn't work. Anyway, the other option actually is you just specify where department in. So you put this for. So as you can see, there are several ways to deal with your problems, the challenges you're likely to face. Another long method I thought of is I would have just created a CTE, and now this table would become a temporary table in the first CTE, meaning this top bot is already created. So if I do where top bot is not now, it will pick it. It won't ignore it, and it won't give me the wrong thing. There you go. So yeah, several ways to solve your problem, several ways to write the same, to come to the same solution, but different parts. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, what this case statement is doing is just creating a new column, top bot, and this top bot for like top bottom is just allowing us to only have the relevant departments that we need. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do still in here is we don't need everything. Yeah. And now top bot is going to become our first column. And what do we care about in this case? We care about the last evaluation. So if you get an average of the last evaluation as average last evaluation, and then we are grouping group by 1. Yeah. And yeah, we don't need order by because now we're only working with like 2. Okay, so let's make this clean. It's so long and not pleasing and easy for the eye to quickly pick on what's going on. Okay, so the department that had lower score generally had the departments whose satisfactions were low also had a lower average, the average for their last evaluation was also slightly lower than that for the top department. Again, I'm not shocked. Yeah. So the next thing we want to do, we're going to combine these two. So number of projects and average monthly hours. Yeah. So it's just going to be the same thing. So I'm going to write the first one, but the next one we won't write. So we want the average number of projects. Okay, you can actually just copy this. So on average, members that fell in the top departments versus the lower departments, well, how many average projects they do? On average, how many projects would they do? So average project. We could also round. I don't know how to do round up. I just want to 1 decimal place. Notice anyway. So on average, the people with the departments that had like lower satisfaction scores would do an average 3.7 project, while the top ones would do 3.8 projects. Like, I'd wonder, like, what's your thought on that? Like, for me, my thought is these people who are in the departments that had a higher satisfaction score, my hypothesis is, as we saw, they're probably paid higher, they're probably happy in their jobs, they're willing to take up more projects, they're more efficient. On the other side, no matter how much you love your job, no matter how much you're motivated, no matter how much you love your job, no matter how much internal motivation that you give yourself, if the company is failing you when it comes to the culture, it will definitely affect your morale, no matter how hard you're pushing on to try and stay positive and, be efficient. Yeah, it will affect if your efficiency is currently at, like, let's say 95. Okay, 95 is too high and not realistic for this example. If your efficiency is currently at like 80, that means you have the potential of doing 19 if the culture and other forms of motivation are also supporting you. So you're being compensated well, you're being supported by your various manager, the organization as a whole. So yeah, this also makes sense to me. Okay, so what else are we supposed to add? Average monthly hours, time spent in the company. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I want to copy this. Actually, let's just add all of them first. Average monthly hours. And time, I wanted to do this time spent at the company so low, but we'll still see. Okay, so let's just come back here. We'll still see what we need to see. So we're going to find the average. Hourly work. Average as time at company. So I'm going to highlight this because I don't know if you noticed when I was just running the whole thing without highlighting the specific section. It was running everything else before it gets to me. So yeah, okay. But I like this. Like, I'd say there's no big problem in this company, honestly. So the top people would spend on average 201 hours, while the departments who had a lower score would spend around 200 hours. Not bad. While the people who were in the departments that was scored higher, people who had stayed in the company longer. I have two hypotheses, two thoughts about this. While the ones who had stayed, the ones in the department that scored lower had stayed in the company a bit long, a bit for a slightly shorter period, but then again, it's slightly short. So like my thinking around this doesn't even make sense. But yeah, what I'd say here, these people have been in the company longer, have probably gotten an opportunity to grow. They've built trust with the various owners, members of the senior leadership who've been there also very long. And yeah, they're just generally more happy, generally more comfortable. On this other hand, the people from the departments that, what is it called, scored a bit lower, are like relatively new, not as old as the other people, and they are still building trust to this company, getting to know the people. I guess now at an individual level, I guess it's also a matter of patience, because if there's someone who's been in the company for like 4 years, you've been in the company for like 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. This person for 4 years probably understands the business and slightly more than you. The members of the senior management probably know this person, trust this person. So yeah, I'd say it's also just a matter of patience to, to build that trust, to be patient, keep doing the right thing. Let opportunities find you when you're ready for that growth opportunity. And yeah, the more they trust you, the more projects you're likely to do. So this would increase. Maybe you decide to put in more hours that you build that trust. I don't know. But yeah, like I'm seeing a story. I would tell if I was to present this dashboard to like relevant stakeholders. Yeah. So yeah, the next thing we wanted to check is just work accident and promotion in the last 5 years. Yeah. So I'm just going to copy this. No need to write it again. And so we're going to keep time spent at the company. But now we want to know promotions in the last 5 years. So I'm just going to replace this with actually, let's just create a new one on it. So we're keeping time spent at the company, and let's clean it up. So we're adding 2 more, and those 2 work accident. I'd say people who had a higher score, like the top departments, the higher score, probably had fewer accidents. And yeah, partly because they've just been in the company longer, as we saw. They understand like systems, processes. They're likely to, like, mistakes happen, but yeah, for lack of better words, maybe they've already made their fair share of mistakes, and they're less likely to get into some minor accidents compared to someone who's like relatively younger in the company. Yeah. So average number of accidents, and then average number of promotions. So let's select this. Let me lower this so we can see a bit more. Okay, that's actually enough, honestly, you guys. Okay, so let's check my hypothesis. So for sure, the people who had lower satisfaction scores had a they had lower number of accidents. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, if I was thinking about it from a statistical point of view, like from a probability point of view, if these people are doing on average more projects, spending more hours, the probability of them having accidents are higher. I also don't know if the number of people in the, or we could actually do this, the number of people, how many people are in this department, like the top departments versus how many are this in the department that scored lower, and we see it could also, yeah, but this is an average, but I just want to see that. And then average number of promotions. So yes, people who are in the departments that scored higher, who we also know have stayed in the company a bit longer, work a bit more hours. Not that I'm in no way encouraging anyone to work extra hours in the name of I don't know what, but here we're just seeing that there's a relationship between people who work slightly more hours, do more projects. As you can see, on average, they get promoted a bit more than the people who scored lower, who we also saw do slightly less number of projects, work slightly less number of hours. Yeah. So yeah, the last thing I want to do, and then we can call it a day. A day? No, it's 2 p.m. for me, so not a day definitely. But call it a project is, yeah, let's just check how many people are here. So what we can do, because it's also an aggregate function, so we can do count employee ID as number. Let's just keep it short here. So that's basically it. You can use the count function and you count the number of IDs. Then it will be grouped by 1, which is top, bottom. Let's save that. Let's run that. And there you go. So the number of people in the departments that had a lower satisfaction score is 1,500, while the ones that had a higher satisfaction score is 2,859. So as you can see, there are more, and there are more. So there's the chances, like, even if all these people got an accident and all these people had an accident, you see how it's still higher here. Anyway, so I don't even know if I've made sense, but this marks the end of our project, but I feel like I need to explain this a bit better. It's like, if the smaller the sample, the higher the error. So the smaller the sample, the smaller the sample, the higher the error. So these guys just have a higher sample size, and you're more likely to find what you're looking for over these guys. Because if, let's say, in the whole world we have 2 people who got an accident, the chances of the larger the sample, the more likely you are to find these people. The smaller the sample, the less likely you are to find those people among the small samples. So if you take a group of 10 people and you're like, oh, has one of you ever gotten an accident? No. But if you take a group of 100, 1,000, 10,000, now the chances of getting at least one person in those 10,000 over one person in that 10 people is higher. So that's where my thought process was here. And I guess that just tells you guys, like, the importance of statistics. Like, you can not run away from, like, basic math and statistics as someone who's interested in getting into data. So as I said, that's it for this project. If you found it, if you found this useful, let me know down in the comment below. Also feel free to like. That's another form of letting me know that you enjoyed this, you found this useful, you learned something from it. If you're interested in learning various data analysis tools, be it SQL, Python, I'm also getting into Power BI, not getting into Power BI, like, I learned SQL, I learned data. Like, my first data visualization tool was Tableau. So I thought I would only be creating content around Tableau, but no, as some of you have already seen, I've done an SQL Power BI project, planning to do another SQL Power BI project and another like Power BI solo project. So if you're someone who's interested in, like, going through a number of follow-along projects that you can use to learn, you can put on your resume for your job search process, feel free to stay along this journey with me by liking, not liking, by subscribing. And when you like and you also comment and you let me know, oh, Ceci, I like this about this project, I want to see this, why not cover this area of SQL, this area of Power BI and whatnot. And I also don't just do projects, I also do tutorials. So I've done a bunch of basic level, like beginner level Python tutorial. I've created a bunch of beginner and intermediate level SQL tutorials, in the process of creating tutorials on advanced SQL. 2024 is the year that I'm going to create for you guys a very high quality, full, free SQL course. So I'm really excited about that, you people. But if this is something you're interested in, subscribe. So as I had mentioned earlier, I'm going to link the code down below. So I'll put it on Google Colab. If using Google Colab is something you want me to take you guys through, please let me know down below. You could run this code. You could run this code on Google Colab, get the actual results and push it onto your GitHub. If transferring your projects onto your GitHub is something that you want me to show you guys, let me know down below. But that's it from me. Thank you for staying to the end of the video, and see you in the next one. And I'm really contemplating doing this project again, but now on Power BI. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Not promising that it will be the next one. It might be 3 projects later, 4 projects later, because I already have a bunch of projects planned out for this month and December. So the thought of doing this on Power BI just came when I was setting the questions. I was even like, should I just turn this into a SQL Power BI tutorial instead of just a SQL HR analytics project? But like, you know what? Let me just stick to it. I could redo the same project, but on Power BI. So if that's something you're interested in, yeah, stay tuned. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for like by the time before this video, by the time I was making this what is it called, this project, we were at 700 subscribers in, I think I'm 4 months now. In about 3 to 4 months, we've hit 700 subscribers, guys. Thank you. The watch hours are also looking decent. Just, yeah, thank you. I really don't take for granted the fact that you take time. You watch these videos, you ask me questions. As much as you're coming here to learn, I also really enjoy interacting with you guys. I enjoy being asked questions. I want to learn from you, and I also want you guys to learn from me. Now, calling it a video for real. Bye, and yeah, see you in the next one.